around 87 is when I did the permaculture course. 88 is when Fukuoka came to India and got the Deshikotam Award and visited the bookstore, and my article on him and Bill Mollison got published. Around 89 I brought out a publication called Ecological Vision with a focus on ecological agriculture and a networking guide to over 100 people working with organic ecological agriculture in different parts of the country. And that carried in an announcement of a national gathering on natural farming and natural living. So natural living including natural health and healing. This was a 3-day gathering in north coastal Maharashtra, just a few kilometers south of Bhaskar Save's farm. And there were a few hundred people who came from all over India. And there were 2 busloads of people from this gathering who visited Bhaskar Save's farm, which was just about 8 kilometers north of where this gathering was held in Boddi, which is a coastal educational small town in north coastal Maharashtra. And you go a little further up north, you cross the border into Gujarat, and Bhaskar Save is in the first village, Dehri, and his farm is there. And during that visit, 4 of us decided that we would start our land hunt to do organic fruit and vegetables. And we hunted for land for about 4 years and saw maybe 30, 40 places and almost bought 2 of them. And we're happy we didn't, because finally in 94 we visited this place which we finally bought, which is now called Vanwadi. The land had been clear cut. Half the land had been clear cut just the previous year before we bought it, and another half had been clear felled the year before that. So the regrowth was less than 2 years all over. Half the land was, the regrowth was less than a year. But one could make out that there was vigor in the soil because no chemicals had been used there. And there was no disruption of the soil, deep tilling of the soil. So under these conditions, regeneration happens nicely. And we thought we'd pass the word around, and instead of buying 10, 15 acres among 3, 4 of us for organic farming, we passed the word around and thought we'd buy a larger area of land as a buffer and to help regenerate, what seems to be a nicely regenerating forest. So we made some very basic ground rules, principles, shall we say, that no use of chemicals, at least 50% tree cover, conservative use of water, ecological audit as the guiding principle, in the sense that our presence should conserve natural resources or help regenerate them, but not degrade them. Fair dealings with local people. Local needs to have priority over commercial gain. No investment for speculative gain, so that you don't sell off to an outsider who doesn't abide by what you have agreed to. It should go to someone who agrees to follow all that we had agreed to. Preferably a member of the group or approved by at least 1/3 of our group. And that was in 1994. It's been 30 years, so it's that second venture of ours is as old as our daughter. Earthcare Books is about as old as our son. But Vanwadi is as old as our daughter Zui. Our son is Rishabh. And it's a gift to them and to all youngsters of the future generation. So over 30 years it's regenerated into a magnificent forest. We have more than 90,000 trees and a lot of biodiversity. About 15 years ago we did a botanical survey with the help of local traditional farmers, senior farmers and Adivasis. Adivasis are the indigenous people of that area. And we listed more than 120 traditionally useful plant species growing there, which they recognized and knew were providing some useful product to them. Leave aside the ecosystem services. So out of that 120, there were about 52 species of plants which provided humanly edible yield. So they were wild, uncultivated forest foods, hmm, grown entirely by nature, not even planted by humans. And there was no fertilizer added by any humans, no irrigation done by humans, no pest control, nothing. It was nature's gift to humanity, and nature has been very kind. It's amazing, before farming, which has a 10,000-year-old history according to India's National Commission on Farmers. According to some, it may be 12,000, but whatever, it has a limited history. But before that, human beings got their needs directly from nature. You know, we did not have to farm or grow food to feed ourselves. Nature provided it, and there are an estimated 80,000 plant species which provide humanly edible yield, according to this book called the Gaia Atlas of Planet Management, edited by Norman Myers and published by Pan. And when we talk about 80,000 plant species, it doesn't even look at the number of varieties of each species. Now, for example, if you take rice as a single species, Oryza sativa is the botanical name. According to Dr. Acharya, who's considered the grandfather of rice research and who's been the pioneer of conservation of indigenous seed varieties, who opposed Swaminathan when Swaminathan wanted to usher in the Green Revolution, on the dubious idea that we needed Western technology to take care, to meet our food needs. He said that absolutely not, and we have a wealth of diversity. And he estimated that India had 200,000 varieties of rice, adapted to different conditions. So if a seed variety was taken from one place to another place over a few generations of planting and replanting, it adapted to those conditions. And the other factor was that when a farmer chose a certain variety, he was choosing certain traits which he liked, which he wanted to propagate. And these two factors, selection of traits and adapting to local conditions, gave us this huge variety of plants, even within a single species like rice. So there was a period of time when, following the Second World War, where there was a push to provide us chemical fertilizers, mostly nitrogenous fertilizers, because there was surplus production capacity of the armaments industry, the explosives, the nitrogen-based and ammonia-based kind of thing. And so they when it was so-called peaceful uses of that technology, but it became a war on nature, because over a period of so many years, it has caused a fair amount of devastation to farm soils. This was being pushed in India, but farmers were reluctant to use these seeds, these chemical fertilizers, not seeds, because when most of our varieties of food grains, whether it was rice or wheat or millets, a lot of them, they were all tall varieties, and when you added these chemical fertilizers to these plants growing on the farm, they would tend to grow a little taller and bend over and fall. It's a process, it's a technical word for it, is lodging. The whole plant just bends over and falls. So they did not want to use these chemical fertilizers.